Welcome back to Phinys Garage. It's Gray here, and today we're going to be working on what I spoke of in my last episode. And that's going to be the bottom portion, or the secondary color on the car. So you can see right here, it's like pretty gross looking and rusty. And the reason why this is rusting is because from the factory, these cars come with like this adhesive or this vinyl on here. It's like a semi-clear with a pattern on it. And after 20 years, after over 20 years, it doesn't want to come off. I've used a heat gun. It just flakes off like this, so it's kind of pointless. So what I've been doing is I've been sanding it, and the reason why it's rusting is because I've taken it down to bare metal. I have yet to touch the bottom portion of the car on this side, but if you look up here, you can see I've been sanding down the clear coat on this back door here. Super smooth. You can't even feel an edge anywhere. I'm doing this because eventually we are going to wrap the car. First thing I'm going to do is I am going to take off this guard right here, that guard down there, and then I'm going to see if we can take out this rubber piece, and that'll make sanding and painting a whole lot easier. Most importantly, we have a bag. I did not label it because I'm going to use it for both sides of the car. This is very important so we can put our bolts in here so we know what side of the car they came from. These screws are pretty rusty, so what I might end up doing is taking the screws off of the other car, because that car did come from a desert. It has zero rust on it whatsoever, like not even surface rust. So I think I'll take those screws off of that car and just swap them. That way we'll have a fresh set of screws, so we won't have pretty looking paint and then, you know, like rusty looking and corroded screws. These screws are on here pretty tight, so what I'm going to do instead of using a screwdriver is I'm going to grab a socket and a ratchet and try to see if it'll come off. We're in a bit of a predicament, and I don't know what to do because I can't get out of this predicament. It's not something I can fix. So there's two screws here, and I put PB Blaster on the front and the backs of them, but for whatever reason, they just don't want to budge. And when you do try turning, the screwdriver slips, and then it's just eating at the screw. And eventually, if you keep doing that, you won't have a screw anymore. You'll literally just have something that's there, but you can't access it. That's not a huge problem to me. I mean, I think I could maybe hit it with a hammer on the back and maybe loosen it up. These chrome pieces, these chrome bolts, is the issue for me. So how these chrome bolts work is on the underside of the bolt, there's like a square, and it sits into like a cavity, or sits through a hole. That's the hole. The hole is square. And then there's a nut on the other side. Whenever you would have problems unscrewing it, it's because the bolt is lifting up and it's not sitting in that square hole. Now watch this. I'm going to start turning this thing, and you're going to see the predicament that we're in. So I'm turning this, and the bolt is turning as well. So what has happened here is the bolt is stuck to the nut. They have just become one. Now, if this had like a square hole, then this wouldn't be a problem, because with enough pressure you could crack the bolt free from the nut. But I don't know if the hole's not square or what, because this bolt's not lifting up. So essentially what I'm doing is I'll use this screwdriver, for example, and there's a nut right here. You would turn it like this, and then it would eventually come loose, right? Well, what's happened is the nut is stuck to the screw or to the bolt, so as you turn it, it's just turning as one. So we can't take this off. The only way you could take this off is if we cut the bolt from this nut. I don't really want to do that because I don't have another one of these bolts, because the 96 Montero doesn't have the same kit on it. It's got a different step side over here and different mud flaps and everything. So if we get rid of this, if we cut one of these, they're both like this, by the way, we're in a big problem, because I don't know if you can buy these anymore. It's a lot more work because we have to tape off these chrome pieces so we don't get paint on them, and we have to tape off this black rubber piece so we don't get paint on it as well. Now we're able to sand this portion of the door without having to worry about cutting into this piece, because the sander will tear through this like a piece of cake. This is plastic, it's very soft plastic, this is metal. Sander, oh boy. So now that we've got this pushed back, now I can sand this all the way down. Now the real question is doing the front, because we cannot pull this back because it won't budge. So what I'm going to have to do is I'll have to use like the sander to about this point here, keeping a safe distance away, and then I'll just hand sand. Yes, it's going to suck, it's going to take forever, but it's the only thing I can do. So I'm going to take the sander with 40 grit sandpaper, which is pretty aggressive, but this is a vinyl adhesive and we do need to get it off. So we're going to hit it with that first, see how much we can take down. If we'll take it down to bare metal, we'll see. Doesn't really matter if we do. It's pretty hot outside right now. It's nearly 100 degrees and I'm working on the Montero outside, not undercover, and it's kind of miserable. I've come up with a solution though. So I've got my extra sheet here and put it over the welder there and in the window of the car, and then over there over the mirror, and I got myself a little shaded area while I can finish sanding down the car. So far, this is where I'm at. I did decide to sand it down to bare metal. It's difficult to tell how thick this vinyl actually is and have I gotten through it. So I thought, you know what, I'll take it down to bare metal. I'll just prime it, paint it within like a day, and it wouldn't be a problem because there wouldn't be any rust corrosion. I'm going to continue grinding on this door, get this door finished, and then we're going to start on that one. I've already sanded down that mud flap up there. I just got to sand down this one, get the gunk off of here. As you can see, it's on the underside there. We got to get that off because whenever I put the new double-sided tape on there, we need a clean surface here, here, and down in there. And then we just got to scuff this up, tape it all off, and then we can start painting it. what you're looking at here is what I originally thought was just welding splatter. Because in this area, it looked like either bubble under rust or welder splatter, but it didn't look right to be, you know, rust underneath the paint. Now that I've sanded it back, I don't know what happened, but it looks like there's a rusty hole here and someone tried patching it. They tried to do a lazy job and just weld up the hole with the welder solder stuff. The hole doesn't go all the way through. It's solid. What I'm gonna have to do now is get some body filler and put it over this area. I don't know what happened here, but we're gonna have to take care of this. So I'm gonna sand down the rest of this by hand, and then I'll have to go to the store and get some Bondo. I got the whole bottom portion of the back door sanded down. Started working over here on the passenger door. You can see I started creating a line here that I can follow, and then we'll just work our way down like this. So we got that side sanded. I've scuffed up this running board here, scuffed up the rocker panel as well. This one's all scuffed and sanded. I just got to get the old adhesive off of the back of this mud flap here, and then we got to get some body filler and fill this hole, because I mean, you could leave it like that, but that looks really terrible. I'm gonna call this a stopping point for today's episode, only because we still have that door to do, and then I have to get some body filler and fill that. And by the time I'm done with all that and then I paint this thing, it could be a whole another week. If you enjoyed today's episode and you want to see more videos on the restoration of my 1999 Montero, consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. But thank you guys so much for watching the video, and until next time, I will see you later. Have an amazing day.